Yeah, that's a real bummer. Let me light an incense for Ozzy. But yeah, Ozzy was a big part of my life growing up, and yours too if you were around in the 80s. Yours too if you were around in the 80s. You know, we just did an 80s show last night on the Monday Night Live show. But this is the... Let me get my other phone. 1 second. This is, of course, the childhood book tag. And I was tagged by Pat at Book Chat with Pat a couple weeks ago. And I was just tagged by Phillip at Poet Reads to Write. And it's an original tag. It was created by Fantastical Magic. So links below to their channels. I have a lot of things to talk about, stories to tell, old books to show. So let's get to it. First prompt: were you a big reader as a child? Yes. My first short story I remember was called The Five Chinese Brothers. Here's what it looked like. It's from the 30s and a female writer. And it's a humorous story, but you know, looked at with today's eyes, it can be really offensive as per its stereotypes. Like, I'll put a link below to someone reading the story too on YouTube. See what you think. It's a really good memory for me. I found it in, this is back in the day of traveling salesmen and Bible salesmen and encyclopedia salesmen. And my mother bought a set of these excellent encyclopedias, but also a collection of like great novels, Huckleberry Finn, etc., and short stories. They were different colors of books. And that's where I discovered the Five Chinese Brothers. Did your parents read to you? So what? My mother got me reading. She was a big reader of newspapers. And in Toledo, Ohio, the paper was called The Blade, after Toledo, Spain, known for its silver and swords. But so the Toledo Blade had a peach section. It was called the peach section. It was colored peach in the middle of the paper. It had the TV guide, and it had a lot of comics in that. I was talking about this on the show last night too. I remember Prince Valiant. You know, there was like a story comic. You had to follow the story of this young prince. But I like BC and Hagar the Horrible too. Should have got out some of my Mad magazine books. Loved Mad magazine and that, but my mother got me started reading before I could even read, trying to read. 3, first bookish memories. I remember reading the Sting, S-T-I-N-G, the movie with Paul Newman and Robert Redford. Well, that was a book before, and Robert Redford's character was Hooker. That was his name, probably last name, of course. And I remember reading that, and the first time I read the F word in a book. The second time was Catcher in the Rye. But be honest, Ford, did you read books assigned for you in school? Yes and no. I really got into Carlos Castaneda early on in school, and due to like my influence of older kids, Mark Isler turned me on to make me get my high school yearbooks out. Where did you get books as a child? I went to the library. We had a neighborhood library, and it was my excuse to get out of the house, could walk there. smoking. But yeah, the librarians were my Google. We did have telephones back there. They had cords on them and plugged into the wall of the phone, but call your library to ask, who was the president in 1849? Look it up. I remember books, Who's Who. I remember writing people like Tom Snyder. Remember him? He was on TV, half-hour show. He interviewed people like John Lennon. Let me show you this old deck of cards. This is a decoupage box. I make decoupage things. I made this in 2019, evidently. But this is a keepsake box. It has a deck of bunch of affirmations, I guess, huh? It's the oldest deck I have. I've had this since I was about 15 years old. I remember typing out things about it. They're like paper thin. Paper thin. They really are. I'm afraid to tear them. But it's called the Hanson Roberts deck, and they're all, talk about Prince Valiant, they're all kind of King Arthur-ish. But I love this deck. It's small. There's a Queen of Pentacles. Look at her. It fits in there your hand nicely. But yeah, this deck has been with me for forever. The Moon and Hangman. Fond memories of it. And in this box are memories, barks from trees. Interesting pine cone. Smallest pine cone you'll ever see. And an acorn and a rock from an Oregon beach that I had especially good fond memories of. So that's an old childhood. Had that 45 plus years. 6. Did you watch any TV meant to inspire reading? I remember Zoom, Zoom on PBS. And I was a Sesame Street kid. Is it a Bill? Bill and Rock the Boat, Bill on the Hill. Yeah, I'll remember these songs after I finish recording, of course. 7. What sort of genres or storylines did you like? I liked magic as a kid too. I think tarot cards got me into magic, or the other way around. I don't know, but I was a stage magician. I don't know if I'll ever read this book, but if it wasn't so long, I would. Maybe, I don't know. But I am going to read this book. This is the type of book I would read as a kid. And so it's thinner, short stories. I think it has some illustrations in it. And it was sent to me by a friend years ago, so I might as well get around to it, eh? 8. Favorite children's books or picture books? I also read this book early on, Breakfast of Champions. It's the first Vonnegut book I remember reading, probably junior high school. I have a distinct memory of reading this last day of class in junior high school. I was in the band, and everybody was in little cliques, and that I was off reading, waiting for Godot. That explains a lot, huh? 8. Favorite children's or picture book? Oh, hang on. Oh my God, I'd be remiss if I didn't show this. The Jungle Book. Look at this old album. It's in great shape. I'll clean that off. It will play brilliantly. I've had this album forever. My grandmother took me to see this musical at a theater. It was called the Paramount Theater in Toledo, Ohio. So, yeah, that's really great. And thinking of my grandmother, this is, I like keepsakes. This is the smallest diamond you'll ever see. I have to get this fixed. I have to get two things fixed. This is a money clip, silver and turquoise. I have to get fixed. And when I do, I'm going to get, this is my grandmother's diamond ring. Get it sized for my pinky. And, yeah. Weird, huh? Magic is in them. 9, favorite chapter or big kids book? I think I kind of explained that. I read Huckleberry Finn when I was really young and before I could understand it. Thought it was a funny adventure book. You know, oh, he dresses like a girl. So I've got a Norton Critical edition of that and then a clean copy. I've read that book more than 5 times. One of my favorite American novels, if not East of Eden, which we just read, and I read for the 3rd time and just enamored with it. 10 favorite children's series. Oh, you know, I like the TV shows, The Brady Bunch, followed by The Partridge Family on Fridays, 8 o'clock and 8:30. Tag others. Okay, a lot of people have been tagged in this, so if you're watching, you're tagged. I really didn't mention any other tubers, but hey, I got this out on Tuesday, and I hope you're all doing well, ready for hump day. Make a comment if this made any sense to you, or if you've read any of these by any chance. Thanks.